Over the past few weeks, we have been looking at the African choker necklace. This week, we wanted to look at some leather collars that you're able to make. For the best DIY and fashion content, subscribe to my channel and hit that bell so you'll be notified when I post a video every Tuesday. I have a Facebook page that is dedicated to DIY, crafts, and fashion that you're able to join. Now it's your turn. Over the past weeks, we have been making African collar necklace. Now it's time for us to change our look from these fabric necklace designs and look at a leather collar choker DIY detachable collar, which are a great do-it-yourself detachable collar DIY. We will learn how to make a Peter Pan collar, which will be a detachable Peter Pan collar to add to your necklace collection. As I was trying to figure out, okay, how am I going to do my collars? What do I want it to look like? I got these bits that I have and put them down on here and thought this would be a cool leather vest. Instead of chopping it up into a collar, because I won't have enough, I wanted to make a bag and a collar. So I'm going to switch up the way I use my leather, and I'm going to show you an alternative. What I wanted to do with the collar, and I can't find my bits and pieces for it, is I wanted to have it so that it has fringe, because there's one that you can buy where it's just flat and you can put it over, buy the long one, and then you're going to cut according to your neck, and that would be like an awesome collar, detachable collar for a Zoom meeting. I'm not going out and buying anything as of now, so I'm either going to try and figure out to make it, or I don't know how to do it. Here's some other cool things that you can do. You can also do little charms. I would make them so that they hang all over your collar. Goes like that, and that foot. See that? Another thing that I have are these. I'm going to make earrings out of some of them, but these would be cool too to have all the way around, placed in the appropriate spot. Got these keys for a belt that I was making for kids, but that would be also cool, even if you hang it like down from here. This week, we're going to make approximately 6 collars. These ones here are out of a suede look, and then I'm going to show you the leather collar that I'm going to make. I should have made the outer shell a little bit bigger and the inner shell smaller, and I didn't do that. By doing that, you can stretch it and have the seams line up. This is an oversized collar, and these two here are the Peter Pan collar, and then I'm going to show you some different ways how to decorate them. Now with this specific collar, what I did was extended the neck piece so that it goes around your neck so that you don't have to tie it with a ribbon. All of these collars are going to get interfacing because I want the suede to be just a little bit stiffer. If it's too thin, it looks fake. For all of these collars, you're going to cut 2 sides of interfacing, 2 sides of the fabric, and then 2 linings, but I have changed up the interfacing. So this is a woven interfacing, this is a regular Pellon interfacing, and this one is the fuse knit interfacing. So when you use on knits, and then the 2 lightweight ones, this lightweight one is the one that I use on jackets to line the back of a jacket, and it just gives it a really beautiful texture. Now when it comes to ribbon, I have 2 types of ribbon. I have this one that has that little stitch at the top, if you can see that. Okay, I have that. And then I have this one. Before you do your lining, you're going to attach your ribbon. Now if you're using leather, don't put a pin in the leather. You can either use the clips or you can take some double-sided tape. But remember, if you're using tape, do not iron, okay? So you use double-sided tape, put it through, and make sure that it stays so you don't stitch it on either side. And then you're going to take your lining and you're going to sandwich it in between and leave it like that, and then stitch around it. And I always like to back tack on top. Now for your ribbon, for myself, it's about 10 inches. So you can have about 20 inches for your ribbon, but it really depends on you how long you want to have it. If you want to have a bow and then it trailing in the back. Now you can do it small, but don't do it too small because you want to be able to tie it and have it comfortable. Then once you pull your fabric and turn it around, this is what you're going to get, and you're going to have that space open, and you're not going to need to close that. What I did was I ironed mine, and you can see that the opening is here, and I'll just do a small little slip stitch. Now if you want to press it so that it's flat, so that when you iron this portion, you're not ironing it and it's swelled, and also you want to press it so that the interfacing melts and everything kind of adheres together. So what I do is I wet my fabric with water. I take my cotton pressing cloth and I press it, and each section I go by and I press it really flat, making sure that my seams are nice and sharp. Now a tip that I did, and I might not have shown you, the corners, I did 1 stitch across so that it kind of goes up not a full point, and then back down so that that part in there is a little bit of a square. Now when you connect them, you see how it goes together, and then we're just going to do a slip stitch. You can use invisible thread, the same color thread, it doesn't matter. You're just going to slip it, and we're going to slip stitch this portion here. Now to complete this Peter Pan detachable collar, we're going to connect these two pieces here. And the way I would recommend you doing it is go through the back. Okay? So let's put it this way, and I'm going to take my thread, I'm going to put it through here, I'm going to bring it through the stitch line, I'm going to pull it, and I'm actually going to try and pull my knot through the lining and keep it there. And you're going to pull it through on this side, pull it tight, and just keep going back and forth, back and forth. Make sure you catch the front but not pierce through the fabric, because you want a solid stitch. So I'm going to do it and then I'm going to show you. So this one is completed, and here is that attachment portion. This is a collar piece that I created, and I made it so that it goes all the way around your neck. And so what I'm going to do is attach this to here. Now once you've stitched this back part together, you're going to do the same thing for your lining, and then you're going to sew your lining all the way around 1/4 of an inch. So guys, I wanted to just show you something. If you sew and leave an opening here, that means you have to squeeze all of your fabric from this side through that portion. But if you sew and you sew the back portion and then you sew the front and leave it here, then you can spin it and pull through your fabric on one side and then just top stitch. Hopefully that made sense. I wanted to show you a small change that I'm going to make. I'm just going to put, instead of hand stitching this, I'm going to put bias tape from here to here to close off the seam instead of hand stitching it. And I'm going to measure from here to here, here to here, and then make it so it looks even. So guys, so what I did was I marked on one side with pins. I made sure that I poked the pins through on the opposite side. Then I took a piece of soap, just mark each pin, tilt your pin to the side and mark it, and do the same thing with the front. Make sure you mark all your pins and make sure that the soap that you use is a non-oily soap. So generally like ivory, those types of soaps are really good. Now a tip before you actually start your beads, make sure that your needle can fit through the needle hole. If it can't, get a finer needle. And then you also want to make sure that that needle, when it fits through, that if you're using invisible thread, which I would recommend, that the invisible thread can fit through this hole. The other option that you have is if you do not have thread or needle that's thin enough, I would E6000 it and place some on, glue it, and then you're going to have that. And be careful not to allow it to roll so that the glue gets all over your suede. Comment down below if you're going to attempt to make any of these leather collars. Now for the suede collar necklace, this is what we're going to use. I do have a variety of colors, but I opted for the black one. I have these keys. So what I did was I cut my rope 70 inches, but you can do it like 50 or 60. So what I'm going to do, I decided to use these keys. I'm going to use the medium size one. I think I'm going to put a small little key there, and I'm not sure if I want them to be dangling like that. Yeah, I think that's fine. They don't have to be the same way. So one key's going this way, one key's going that way. So what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to clamp it. And I left the whole part because I had thought of putting a chain down with some crystals, but for now I'm going to leave it that way. On the opposite side, I was thinking of using the bigger key. Now before you clamp this side, make sure that your rope is not twisting. So I just feed it through my hand and keep going the full length of your rope, smoothing it out. There you go. And we're going to clamp on this side. And when you're using this, you should have a flat one.
Now it's finished.
You're only going to have that wrapped around maybe twice, and then you're going to wrap this part around. Sorry. If you're going to make the suede cord necklace or even add a leather, I did make some necklaces, and when I wore my white shirt, the black rubbed off on it. So if you're going to make anything with black or any of the colors, I would wash it. Just make sure that the dye is off, and that's what that will look like. When it pertains to leather, I have some leather pieces, and I was going to take this part and make a choker and have the choker go around the neck with some of these going on, or take this piece and cut it down. But I looked at it and I thought this would be a cool kind of choker that goes like that, and it just goes over your shoulder. You can put a different jewelry piece in there, so that looks really nice. So what you would do is you can either hand stitch these onto here, so you're going to measure it, right? We're looking at the mannequin, which would be yourself. You're going to measure it, put it on the piece of leather over top of you. You can even wear this with a collar. That would be cool too, and a necklace underneath. And then we're going to stitch these two pieces. There you go. You are off to the races. Also, remember with leather, you can use the suede side or the leather side. You can use stiff or soft leather. Making a leather necklace will not look like a handmade fabric necklace. We will create a leather wrap necklace and also a suede cord necklace. We will discuss the oversized collar, which is no different from the DIY collar choker. A leather collar choker is a false collar, but a simple DIY. Now that you know how to make the leather choker collar, I have written a 9-page designing platform guideline to help you get those creative juices out of your mind and onto a digital platform. I have included some tutorials to help you understand the platforms better. You can download the guide at the link in the description box. Also, are you a creative mind and want to join a community of like-minded individuals? I do have my Facebook page where we will be sharing information regarding fashion and DIY craft that you're able to join. Check out the link in the description box. Check out these videos next on the African collar choker or the African collar choker statement piece. And be sure to watch my upcoming video, collar bibs. And if you like this video, hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to share it with family and friends.